together, and they totally encircle the urethra, and then and help form the shaft of the penis there, and the urethra would exit through the glands this way. And lastly, the labioscrotal swelling stays about the same in the female, and again totally encircles the vestibule. It would be the labia majora. In a male, would fuse together to provide a hollow pouch that the testes would descend down into. And there is a septum between the two of them, so the testes, the right testis and the left testis, are housed in two separate containers. Sometimes if a testis turns in there, it's called torsion of the testes. It's not that they turn sideways, just within their own pouch they turn. And that can be very painful if it gets stuck that way, right? It has to be manipulated, physically moved back into the right way. Now, this all occurred because this occurred, right? The reason that those internal genitalia and the external genitalia proceeded down a particular path was due to the presence or absence of testis-determining factor. If testis-determining factor is present, that bipotential gonad becomes a testis who produces testosterone, and male development occurs both internally and externally. If testis-determining factor is not present, the default development is ovary, and we don't have testosterone, and we will develop into the female structure. Now, because of the fact that males and females share embryonic structures that contribute to adult structures, there is the possibility of ambiguity in development, right? Meaning that if development doesn't proceed all the way to completion, yeah, we don't, the genitalia would be in between, right? I mean, you can see right here, those two look pretty similar to each other, right? So it is possible, because of errors that occur during development, that development doesn't go to completion. And individuals that often are born with what is called ambiguous genitalia, meaning that if you look at the external genitalia, it is difficult to assign gender at birth, right? or even before birth through an ultrasound. And that's because the development has to proceed completely to female or completely to male. Now, in the past, what would have happened was that a physician would look and see, oh, I don't know what it is, but it looks like it's easier to turn it into whatever. And then they would do, early on in infant development, they would do surgery to assign gender. So gender assignment surgery, right, is where they would turn whatever genitalia are there into either male genitalia or female genitalia. The easiest thing usually to do is to turn to female genitalia. So that would commonly be done. Now, you have to realize that only part of one's gender identity is the parts they got right. That's only one part of it. We know that brains, well, now we know, more so than we did 30 or 40 years ago, brain development is very different in males and females as well. I mean, not only is testosterone circulating around and affecting my gonads, right, testosterone's in my blood going everywhere. So testosterone is also affecting, in the absence of testosterone, all kinds of development, neural development, everything. Right? So that's a problem, because the brain development, or the effect of testosterone on other parts of development other than their genitalia, may have proceeded okay. Right? So you could have done gender assignment surgery and turned someone into a female, but yet their brains developed totally into male, or the male sort of pattern of brain development. All right, so that's an issue. That's a conflict, right? We also know that also part of my gender identity is very environmentally influenced, right? The way I am raised, the environment within which I'm raised, how I'm treated as a child, experiences that I've had as a child affect my perception of my own gender. So I've got lots of things that contribute to whether you perceive yourself as male or female, right? Whether you perceive yourself as male and female, a big part obviously is what parts do you have, right? Are you phenotypically male or female? That's one part of it. How did my brain develop to influence my sort of male physiology or my female physiology? And what experiences did I have in my lifetime that affect how I view myself as an individual? So there's a big movement, hopefully you're aware, right? And I think your generation, unlike my generation, does a better job at doing this, that there has to be an acceptance of people for whom they are, and then allow them to decide what patterns of development they want to take for themselves once their bodies are formed and they have